Thanks for joining me in How to Win in Business and Life. We are in lesson one. We are going to talk about what is stopping you from becoming assertive. Now, according to Sakaki Gawan, assertiveness is not what you do, it's who you are. So, what I want you guys to understand is there's a huge difference between being assertive and being aggressive. So, we're going to talk today about those differences and we're going to help you understand what is holding you back from being as assertive as you know that you can be. So again, huge difference between being assertive and being aggressive. Being assertive is a way of living where you get the most out of life without other people telling you how to do it. So what that doesn't mean is that you don't need to be obnoxious or pushy or rude to get your own way. But something else that's important to understand as we enter these modules is that you can't just jump in with both feet and decide, hey, I'm going to be assertive and no one's going to push me around anymore. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Learning how to be assertive requires a new mindset and a plan. So remember, you want to be assertive, not aggressive. And one way to start is by asking yourself these questions. What do you value most? What are some of beliefs that you have about how life works? How do you feel about yourself? What are your approaches to life? And do those approaches work? Now, the fact that you are watching this course, it says a lot. It says that you're seeking for improvement in life, and change starts with awareness. So you're aware that you need to change something. You just don't know what or how to get started. So it's time to learn why you do what you're doing and how to turn that around. Again, remember, you can't just flip a switch and instantly become assertive and successful in life. Now, Mark Twain said that we do not deal much in facts when we are contemplating ourselves. So, in order to learn how to become assertive and be in charge of your own life, you need to be honest with yourself. Dr. Phil is always saying that you can't change what you do not acknowledge. So, it's time to figure out what are you hiding from yourself. So, do you consistently fail when it comes to attaining your goals in life? Are you drifting along with no plan, goals, and ideas? Are you stuck in a comfort zone and that zone gives you no new challenges? Are you maybe getting a little too little of what you really want and way too much of things that you don't want? Are you living with guilt or frustration and don't know how to change things? So, what's at stake here is the quality of your life. Do you want to live it fully and authentically, or are you okay with someone else calling the shots and making the decisions for you and the rest of your life? Do you feel like you're constantly being pushed around? Do you feel like you're being taken advantage of? Do other people try to run your life? Or do you feel that you're ready to start living life on your own terms? So, you need not accept burdens like those that I just listed above. You have to assert yourself and reach for something better. You have the right and the ability to have whatever it is that you want out of life. But I do need to warn you again, change doesn't come at an instant. I'm so happy that you're taking this course, but after the completion, it's not going to turn your life around. It's very, very important you start implementing the steps and the knowledge that you learn throughout this program. Now, assertiveness is something that has to be learned carefully, and it's something that you will need to learn one step at a time. And it's especially true if you spend years following others and having them tell you what to do, how to do it, what to think, what to feel, all that. And it also depends on how motivated that you are to learn and assert yourself. So, think about those people who run our world, whether it's business, politics, sports, entertainment. There's one common denominator for all those people. Now, these people know which buttons to push to get what they want. Some of these people are extremely intelligent and articulate, while some might just merely be manipulative. Some are unconcerned with whether you agree with them or not or share their views, and other might be rabid and demanding that you fall in line with them. They feel that they know what's best, and this gives them the authority to tell everyone what they should be doing and saying. In their words, it's their way or the highway, so to speak. So be aware that there are risks involved in learning how to be assertive. You're going to find that many won't agree with you. In fact, they might even argue and try to prove you wrong. So let's go ahead and continue with your assessment in life by acknowledging what is wrong in your life, so to speak. Are you guilty of saying any of these things to yourself? I'm really trying, but it's just so hard. I guess it could have been much worse. It's not what I wanted, but what am I going to do? Sometimes you have to do what you have to do. Or we're doing okay, I guess. Maybe you're making a lot of excuses, like things like it was harder than I expected, or I just couldn't do it. Maybe I was expecting too much. I've got too much going on in my life. I can't handle any of this right now. Or I'll tackle it as soon as I have the time and resources. Or I guess it wasn't meant for me. Maybe it's not in the cards. Maybe it's not your destiny. Or maybe you think that you'll never seem to get the right break. So it's time to stop. It's time to stop whining about bad luck, wrong timing, or how things just never seem to work out for you. Stop hosting those pity parties and realize that the deck is not stacked against you. Stop making excuses. It's time to assert yourself and get what you really, really want. Okay? Let's get back to basics. What exactly are you afraid of? Well, that's easy. People share a universal fear of rejection. The very thought of being rejected can turn the strongest man or woman into a quivering coward. But what do you crave in life? Well, that one's easy too. We all crave for acceptance. I'll explain in a second. We feel lost if we're not accepted, and we feel when we feel left out, excluded, and ostracized, it's devastating to us. Acceptance is everything. Now, we learn about acceptance from infancy. Children will go to any lengths, even doing things they dislike, just to gain the acceptance of their parents, their friends, their teachers. And that continues throughout our lives as we grow. Now, Paul Landers gives us an example of a mindset of an assertive person when he said, "And is the price for your acceptance for me to conform, to be as you would want me to be? You must accept me as I am." So, accepted or not, rejected or not, you have your own destiny to create. You can make it happy or sad. You can make it good or bad. You can be successful or not. Your life is your own, and ultimately, you are responsible for how it turns out. But there may be some bumps along the way, and not everything will turn out according to plan. So, you may have to adjust your roadmap and come up with a plan B or even a C. But in the end, learning how to be assertive will help you win and it will help you get what you want. Now, without assertiveness, you're going to lose control of your life and you're going to find yourself living in someone else's idea of what life should be, what your life should be. If you shy away from being accountable and taking charge of your own life, someone will step forward to claim responsibility for it. Now, this could be a parent, a spouse, or in the case of an elderly person, it may even be one of their own children. If you never master the ability to assert yourself, to make your own decisions, and to live your own life, someone's surely going to step forward and do it for you. And I don't think that's what you guys want. Now, asserting yourself also doesn't mean blaming others for your decisions. For example, my husband left me with nothing when he passed, so it's not my fault, and I'll have to live with my children for the rest of my life. Rather than take the responsibility for your own decisions, you're choosing to volunteer for victimhood and blame someone else. Asserting yourself is taking full responsibility. It's scary and it's risky for anyone. You might ask yourself, what if I assert myself and try to create my own destiny and it doesn't work out? Then what'll I do? I mean, it's normal to be a little fearful because it's part of human nature, right? Keep in mind that all the decisions that you make have consequences. And as you learn to be assertive, you can also learn to trust yourself when making your own decisions. Your thoughts influence your world. And William Shakespeare said that there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So that's a pretty deep statement. To think is to create. Your thoughts create your reality. Your thoughts influence your actions and your behavior. So by changing your thoughts, it can lead to a change in behavior and eventually a change in your world. So let's talk about some things that you might be telling yourself. Do these negative statements sound familiar? I'm just not smart enough. I've never succeeded before. Why would now be any different? People refuse to listen to people like me. People make up their minds and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm too young or I'm too old. Start by choosing how to learn to be more assertive today. With this, you're going to need a well thought out plan. And there will be days when you wonder if you can sustain and follow your plan. Wouldn't it just be easier to throw in the towel and be done with it? Now, if you find yourself in this position, remind yourself of the benefits that you're going to enjoy when you become assertive. Keeping the benefits in mind will help in sustaining your new assertive behavior. Others might be in a difficult situation. This is especially true for the elderly. It is important for them to persevere, especially when the children try to control their lives with well intent and make decisions for them. Now, there's other variables here. Each person must evaluate and decide what's important and what isn't. Being assertive means choosing for yourself. Where do you want to be and with whom? It means what do you want to do, what to say, what do you want to believe? What is keeping you from being more assertive? What keeps you from making your own decisions? Are you afraid you won't be any good at it? Are you secretly afraid that be so good that your entire life will change? Now, St. Paul said, I do not understand my own actions, for I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate. Assertiveness is a learned behavior. Probably it wasn't taught to you as you were growing up. Unknowingly, you developed certain behavioral patterns that didn't support assertiveness. So you fell into a trap where you constantly wondered why your life isn't what you wanted. Now, the definition, as you probably know, of insanity is doing the same things in the same way, but expecting different outcomes. So if you've never done so before, learning to assert yourself produces a change in how you handle yourself. Assert yourself by doing things in different ways and produce a different outcome. Presto, you've asserted yourself and changed your life. So, learn this important lesson here from Dr. Phil McGraw when he said, if you continue to do what you've always done, you will continue to have what you've always had. If you do different, you will have different. Now, unfortunately, in some of the behavioral patterns you learn in life, they become automatic. You don't even think about your responses anymore. So you're not allowing yourself to evaluate the cause and effects of the behavior and you're just flying on autopilot. It may seem easier to let go and not think about the consequences, but in the end, you'll realize that certain behavior patterns will not continue to work for you. So, by remaining static and not changing the patterns of behavior, you repeat the old patterns repeatedly. It's important to stop, think, and reevaluate whether a learned behavior is really working for you or has become another crutch to keep you in homeostasis. So, the reason why you keep getting stuck and unable to move forward is because of this reason. We're not stopping, we're not thinking, and we're not reevaluating. So when you continue to repeat a bad pattern over and over and over, you're doing it for a reason. You got to figure out that reason in order to change that behavior. Change the behavior in order to change your life for the better. Now, some people may seem to be at the mercy of others and unable to make their own decisions or not in charge of their own lives. They let others push them around by telling them what to do. Now, the sad part is that they have allowed this to happen for several years, and some of these folks may never even find their own way, while others might just snap one day and tell everyone off. Now, this is kind of abrupt behavioral changes and can leave everyone puzzled, and it can also lead to destroyed relationships and damaged friendships. But when you decide to be assertive, you must also realize that it's a learned behavior and it must be reinforced every single day. Assertiveness is not a cure all for all your ill feelings, it's a way of managing your life. Now, the University of Illinois Counseling Center says asserting yourself will not necessarily guarantee you happiness or fair treatment by others, nor will it solve all your personal problems or guarantee that others will be assertive and not aggressive. Just because you assert yourself does not mean you will always get what you want. However, lack of assertiveness is most certainly one of the reasons why conflicts occur in relationships. Reciprocation works along with assertiveness too. Choosing to make your own decisions doesn't require you to damage another person, but being assertive doesn't give you permission to push somebody else aside or take over someone else's life or make decisions for them either. Assertiveness is about you and it's about your own life. It's all about your decisions and the consequences. Remember, you get what you give. So, how you do treat others does relate to karma, which simply states that everything that goes around comes around. So, let me correct here a little misconception. Assertiveness is all about getting what you want and building lasting relationships with people around you. Assertiveness works fine when we use it with diplomacy, and you can assert yourself without hurting others' feelings. In fact, a real essence of assertiveness is this: as you get what you want in life, you gain the support of people who would like you to succeed.